said, "Go on, Regna. What we recommend is that the Japanese government enter into the Reich's domestic situation, or at least that was what I came here to recommend. Certain groups in the Reich favor Operation Dandelion, certain others do not. It was hoped that those opposing it could come to power upon the death of Chancellor Bormann. But while you were here," the general said, "Herr Bormann died, and the political situation took its own solution. The Dr. Goebbels is now Reich Chancellor. The upheaval is over." He paused. "How does that faction view Operation Dandelion?" Mr. Baines said, "Dr. Goebbels is an advocate of Dandelion." Unnoticed by them, Mr. Tagomi closed his eyes. "Who stands opposed?" General Tadeki asked. Mr. Baines' voice came to Mr. Tagomi. "SS General Heydrich." "I am taken by surprise," General Tadeki said. "I am dubious. Is this legitimate information or only a viewpoint which you and your colleagues hold?" Mr. Baines said, "Administration of the East, that is, the area now held by Japan, would be by the Foreign Office, Rosenberg's people working directly with the Chancery. This was a bitterly disputed issue in many sessions between the principals last year. I have photostats of notes made. The police demanded authority, but were turned down. They are to manage the space colonization, Mars, Luna, Venus. That's to be their domain. Once this division of authority was settled, the police put all their weight behind the space program and against Dandelion." "Rivalry," General Tadeki said. "One group played against another by the leader, so he is never challenged." "True," Mr. Baines said. "That is why I was sent here to plead for your intervention. It would still be possible to intervene. The situation is still fluid. It will be months before Dr. Goebbels can consolidate his position. He will have to break the police, possibly have Heydrich and the other top SS and SD leaders executed. Once that is done..." "We are to give support to the Sicherheitsdienst," General Tadeki interrupted. "The most malignant portion of German society." Mr. Baines said, "That is right." "The Emperor," General Tadeki said, "would never tolerate that policy. He regards the Reich Elite Corps, wherever the black uniform is worn, the death's head, the castle system, all to him is evil." "Evil," Mr. Tagomi thought. "Yes, it is. Are we to assist it in gaining power in order to save our lives? Is that the paradox of our earthly situation?" "I cannot face this dilemma," Mr. Tagomi said to himself. "That man should have to act in such moral ambiguity. There is no way in this. All is muddled. All chaos of light and dark, shadow and substance." "The Wehrmacht," Mr. Baines said, "the military, is sole possessor in the Reich of a hydrogen bomb. Where the Blackshirts have used it, they have done so only under army supervision. The Chancery under Bormann never allowed any nuclear armament to go to the police. In Operation Dandelion, all will be carried out by OKW, the Army High Command." "I am aware of that," General Tadeki said. "The moral practices of the Blackshirts exceed in ferocity that of the Wehrmacht, but their power is less. We should reflect solely on reality, on actual power, not on ethical intentions." "Yes, we must be realists," Mr. Tagomi said aloud. Both Mr. Baines and General Tadeki glanced at him. To Mr. Baines, the general said, "What specifically do you suggest? That we establish contact with the SD here in the Pacific States? Directly negotiate with... I do not know who is SD chief here. Some repellent character, I imagine." "The local SD knows nothing," Mr. Baines said. "Their chief here, Bruno Kreutz von Meer, is an old-time Partei hack, ein Altparteigenosse, an imbecile. No one in Berlin would think of telling him anything. He merely carries out routine assignments." "What then?" The general sounded angry. "The consul here, or the Reich's ambassador in Tokyo?" This talk will fail, Mr. Tagomi thought, no matter what is at stake. We cannot enter the monstrous schizophrenic morass of Nazi internecine intrigue. Our minds cannot adapt. "It must be handled delicately," Mr. Baines said, "through a series of intermediaries, someone close to Heydrich, who is stationed outside of the Reich, and His contact with the SD apparatus is non-existent, but he might work through someone else in Germany. Economic interests, such as the Krupps, or through General Spidel, or possibly even through Waffen-SS personages. The Waffen-SS is less fanatic, more in the mainstream of German society. Your establishment, the Abwehr, it would be futile to attempt to reach Heinrich through you. The Black Shirts utterly revile us. They've been crying for 20 years to get party approval for liquidating us in toto. Aren't you in excess of personal data from them? General Tedecki said. They are active here on the Pacific coast, I understand. Active, but inept, Mr. Baines said. The Foreign Office man, Rice, skillful, but opposed to the SD. He shrugged. General Tedecki said, I would like your photostats to turn over to my government. Any material you have pertaining to these discussions in Germany, and, he pondered, proof of objective nature. Certainly, Mr. Baines said. He reached into his coat and took out a flat silver cigarette case. You will find each cigarette to be a hollow container for microfilm. He passed the case to General Tedecki. What about the case itself? The general said, examining it. It seems too valuable an object to give away. He started to remove the cigarettes from it. Smiling, Mr. Baines said, the case, too. Thank you. Also smiling, the general put the case away in his topcoat pocket. The desk intercom buzzed. Mr. Tagomi pressed the button. Mr. Ramsey's voice came. Sir, there is a group of SD men in the downstairs lobby.
In a quarter mile, slide right onto Kentucky 536 East.
In the distance, noise of a siren. Outside the building, from the street below, Mr. Tagomi's window. Army MPs are on the way, plus San Francisco Kempaitai. Thank you, Mr. Ramsey, Mr. Tagomi said. You have done an honorable thing to report.
Take the next right onto Kentucky 536 East, then turn right to stay on Kentucky 536 East.
Sir, Mr. Tagomi said to them, we will no doubt kill the SD thug.
At the stop sign, turn right to stay on Kentucky 536 East.
Turn off the power to the elevators. Yes, Mr. Tagomi. Mr. Ramsey broke the connection. Mr. Tagomi said,
Continue on Kentucky 536 East for 1 mile.
He opened his desk drawer and lifted out a teakwood box. Unlocking it, he brought forth a perfectly preserved U.S. 1860 Civil War Colt 44, a treasured collector's item. Taking out a box of loose powder, ball, and cap ammunition, he began loading the revolver. Mr. Baines and General Tedecki watched wide-eyed. Part of personal collection, Mr. Tagomi said. Much fooled around in vainglorious withdrawal practicing and firing in spare hours, and meant to compare favorably with other enthusiasts in contest timing, but mature use heretofore delayed. Holding the gun in correct fashion, he pointed it at the office door, and sat waiting. At the bench in their basement workshop, Frank Frink sat at the arbor. He held a half-finished silver earring against the noisily turning cotton buff. Bits of rouge spattered his glasses and blackened his nails and hands. The earring, shaped in a snail shell spiral, became hot from friction, but Frink grimly bore down even more. Don't get it too shiny, Ed McCarthy said. Just hit the high spots. You can even leave the lows completely. Frank Frink grunted. There's a better market for silver if it's not polished up too much, Ed said. Silverwork should have that old look. Market, Frink thought. They had sold nothing, except for the consignment of American artistic handcrafts. No one had taken anything, and they had visited 5 retail shops in all. We're not making any money, Frink said to himself. We're making more and more jewelry, and it's just piling up.
In a quarter mile, turn left to stay on Kentucky 536 East.
The piece whipped out of Frink's hands and flew to the polished shield, then fell to the floor. He shut off the motor. Don't let those pieces go, McCarthy said at the welding torch. Christ, he's the size of a pea. No way to get a grip. Well, pick it up anyhow. The hell with the whole thing.
At the stop sign, turn left to stay on Kentucky 536 East.
Seeing him make no move to fish up the earring, Frink said, we're pouring money in for nothing. We can't sell what we haven't made. We can't sell anything, Frink said, made or unmade. 5 stores, drop it.
Continue on Kentucky 536 East for 3 miles.
It's enough to know. Don't kid yourself, Frank said. I'm not kidding myself. Meaning what? Meaning it's time to start looking for a market for scrap. All right, McCarthy said. Quit then. I have. I'll go on by myself. McCarthy lit the torch again. How are we going to split this stuff? I don't know, but we'll find a way. Buy me out, Frank said. Hell no. Frank computed. Pay me $600. No, you take half of everything. Half the motor. They were both silent then. 3 more stores, McCarthy said. Then we'll talk about it. Lowering his mask, he began raising a section of brass rod into a cup bracelet. Frank stepped down from the bench. He located the stale shell earring and replaced it in the carton of incomplete pieces. I'm going outside for a smoke, he said, and walked across the basement to the stairs. A moment later, he stood outdoors on the sidewalk, which he enlivened between his fingers. It's all over, he said to himself. I don't need anyone to tell me. I recognize what the moment is. The smell is there. Defeat. And it is hard, really, to say why. Maybe theoretically we could go on, store to store, other cities, but something is wrong, and all the effort and ingenuity won't change it. I want to know why, he thought, but I never will. What should we have done? Made what instead? We bucked the moment, bucked the towel, upstream in the wrong direction, and now, dissolution, decay. Yin has us. The light showed us its ass, went elsewhere. We can only knuckle under. While he stood there under the eaves of the building, taking quick drags on his marijuana cigarette, and dully watching traffic go by, an ordinary-looking, middle-aged white man sauntered up to him. Mr. Frank. Frank. You got it, Frank said. The man produced a folded document of identification. I'm with the San Francisco Police Department. I have a warrant for your arrest. He held Frank's arm already. It had already been done. For what? Frank demanded. Bunko. Mr. Chilton, American Artistic Handcraft. The cop forcibly led Frank along the sidewalk. Another plainclothes cop joined them, one now on each side of Frank. They hustled him toward a parked, unmarked Toyota Pet. This is what the time requires of us, Frank thought as he was dumped onto the car seat between the 2 cops. The door slammed shut. The car, driven by a 3rd cop, this one in uniform, shot out into traffic. These are the sons of bitches we must submit to. You got an attorney? One of the cops asked him. No, he said. I'll give you a list of names at the station. Thanks, Frank said. What did you do with the money? One of the cops asked later on, as they were parking in the Kearny Street police station garage. Frank said, spend it. All? He did not answer. One of the cops shook his head and laughed. As they got out of the car, one of them said to Frank, is your real name Fink? Frank felt terror. Fink, the cop repeated. You're a kite. He exhibited a large gray folder. Refugee from Europe. I was born in New York, Frank said. You're an escapee from the Nazis, the cop said. You know what that means? Frank broke away and ran across the garage. The 3 cops shouted, and at the doorway he found himself facing a police car with uniformed armed police blocking his path. The police smiled at him, and one of them, holding a gun, stepped out and snapped a handcuff into place over his wrist. Jerking him by the wrist, the little knife cut into his flesh to the bone. The cop led him back the way he had come. Back to Germany, one of the cops said, surveying him. I'm an American, Frank said. You're a Jew, the cop said. As he was taken upstairs, one of the cops said, will he be booked here? No, another said. We'll hold him for the German consul. We want to try him under German law.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Kentucky 177 North, Kentucky 536 East.
20 minutes, Mr. Taccone had remained motionless at his desk, holding a revolver pointed at the door, while Mr. Baines paced about the office. The old general had, after some thought, lifted the phone and put through a call to the Japanese embassy in San Francisco. However, he had not been able to
At the stop sign, turn left onto Kentucky 177 North, Kentucky 536 East.
Now General Tadeki was in the process of placing a trans-Pacific call to Tokyo. I will consult with the War College, he explained to Mr. Baines. They will contact Imperial Military Forces.
In half a mile, turn right onto Kentucky 536 East.
So, we'll be relieved in a number of hours, Mr. Tagomi said to himself. Possibly by Japanese Marines from a carrier, armed with machine guns and mortars. Operating through official channels is highly efficient in terms of final result, but there is regrettable time lag. Down below us, black shirt hooligans are busy flooding secretaries and clerks. However, there was little more that he personally could do. I wonder if it would be worth trying to reach the German consul, Mr. Baines said. Mr. Tagomi had a vision of himself summoning Miss Abuki.
Take the second right onto Kentucky 536 East.
You there?
Yeah, how
Hey.
you doing?
Continue
Ah,
on
pretty
Kentucky
good,
536 East for 4 miles.
In Kentucky.
Where are you? I can't hear you really.
In Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Yeah.
That's the name of a town or a state?
Trying to dodge these thunderstorms again.
Yeah, good.
Yesterday was the heaviest rain I've ever driven in, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up here, you know, it's 30 miles an hour, just about the max.
Yeah, I could see 3 power poles ahead.
Well, it was a deluge here too. What part
Yeah.
are you going to?
I've forgotten the name of it already. I still got maybe 200 miles to go.
Ooh, that's far enough, man.
Well, particularly if the storm
say-
comes up, I'm not going to try to go that far.
It's only noontime there, so I keep forgetting, you
No,
know.
it's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock here. What time you got? 2 o'clock?
No, same time.
You're right. Oh, okay. Well, in any case, I'm glad you're trundling along and so that you're safe. Me too.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of people last night. And the guy from Japan was up here.
Oh, really?
But I met him at the Russell Field shelter here. We talked a little bit. He's kind of hard to understand, but
Yeah. What
he's
part
not
of
a
Japan?
backpacker. Beg pardon?
What part of Japan?
I don't know, son.
Yeah.
Sure don't. I think I could barely understand him. He was an older fella. So we had to do a lot of repeating
Yeah.
to get our conversation done. Yeah, he's a big backpacker. You know, he's walked the AT and 1,000 miles of Continental Trail. And
That's cool.
he looked like he's about 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I won't be able to call tonight. I'll be out of signal. I'm at Spence Field Shelter, and I'm about to turn left and go off of the mountain and head down. And when I get down, you know, there'll be a signal down there. One up here on top.
Yeah, I'm in a valley now. I'm kind of surprised I have signal to get a call.
Well, there's just no telling where they stick these damn towers.
Yeah.
You know, I doubt it doesn't make sense to me, the whole system doesn't. I do know this entire system we live in is pretty fragile, very delicate. I would think it'd be easy to upset it greatly.
Well, a CME would take it out. Good one.
You know, some kind of, you know, not necessarily immediately harmful to human life, but in the long run, it'd be terribly catastrophic.
Yeah, at Mercer, I did a project on a massive CME like the Carrington event in 1868, maybe. But yeah, if
tens of millions of people, man.
oh well, you'd lose everything if you had 6 months with no radio communication of any kind. Then, well, yeah,
Yeah, well, it could happen. I mean, I would certainly be weaponizing it any way possible.
well, I started to listen to a Michael Crichton book about a volcano, and I thought, this is the worst damn Michael Crichton book I've ever heard. And it turned out they had just borrowed it, or paid to use his name And then,
It's a piece of shit
yeah,
hack piece by
yeah,
somebody.
it's not even a
That's
Michael.
funny.
It's like any other like if you bought Charles Dickens' name and then wrote a book and called it, by Charles Dickens, sort of about a sort of thing he might have wrote about.
As Dickens would have written it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I was
it
listening
took an
to
hour to
you
figure
know,
that out.
The difference between this Hobbit reading is the guy broadcast himself as he reads it. He sits there and reads out
Yeah.
the book into a microphone. You get to watch him do it.
Oh, I like those because they have little errors and more like being with the person reading.
You can see where he cuts when he
Yeah.
gets tired of reading. He'd stop, just go back to it. Yeah, the other day I was listening a little bit, and he got to the end of the chapter, and he said, "Well, that was tough when he gets through." I rest and start back up again.
Well, I'm listening to a Philip K. Dick book. I'm the most coherent Philip K. Dick book so far.
That's not a good damn recommendation to say this is the most coherent of his works.
Well, he was like a mad prophet.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto US 27 North Alexandria Pike.
Yeah, I'm here, just getting direction.
All right, well, look, I'm going to let you go because we'll probably drop out here anyway in a minute. I'll call you from, I'll give you a shout from Gatlinburg tomorrow. That'll be the
At the
first
light,
place I'll
turn left onto US 27 North Alexandria Pike.
I was going to stay here at the shelter, but there are two other people that are reserved to stay here, and I won't do that. There's nobody reserved at the campground. I'll leave by myself.
Yeah, I'm expecting not too many up here, given the day of the week, but I'll see.
It's real pretty up here on top. It's about 70 degrees. It's just...
Yeah, I got 76 here.
It's amazing that this place has its own weather system. It really does. It's just independent of the rest of the world around it.
Well, I guess it could change. It said that
US 27 North for 1 mile.
some of these roads will be closed due to the thunderstorms, but I don't really see much. It's cloud cover, but it doesn't look like a bad storm.
Well, if it is, you just set it out. It's really not tornado season, so you don't have to worry too much about that.
Yeah, I thought I had sat it out yesterday. I sat on the road probably 30 minutes on the side.
That's a good idea. If the cells are like these, they're very slow-moving storm cells.
Man, this one was not. It was very fast. Caught up to me from, 50 miles an hour or whatever. Caught up to me from behind.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
All right, dude. I'll be talking to you tomorrow around noon.
All right. Sounds good.
I'll talk to you later. Be careful.
All right. Have fun. You too.
Send me a picture.
Will do.
All right.
All right. Bye.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto East Main Street. At the light, turn right onto East Main Street. In a quarter mile, continue straight onto State Highway 547, Riley Road.
Amazing. That house is chinked with rocks. And I think somebody's still in it.